Welcome back to another installment of Honest and Uneducated, the show where we talk about anything from movies, movie news, comic books, television, all sorts of fun stuff. One thing off the top, guys, before we get started, you can submit topics and questions for the show just by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into it here. Joining me today is none other than Rick Metz. How you doing today, Rick?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Doing good. That's pretty good. It's Friday. It's
Friday
good.
night.
Recording this on a Friday night, unlike when we normally do. But
It's a little later than normal, but whatever.
it's good, pretty good though. We got not a whole lot of news to talk about, but there has been a lot of interesting developments that have kind of happened in the movie news, well, not the movie news world, but the movie world. In particular, the first thing we're gonna get into here is AMC has made a, we'll say, peculiar deal with Universal Studios. And Rick, I haven't got your thoughts on this. So I don't know if you know the whole story, so I'm going to kind of explain it for you and the audience here. So the theatrical window is essentially the time that a movie is going to be in theaters before it can be later released on, VOD streaming services, released on Blu-ray or whatever it'll be, right? There's a certain time that the studios have to leave a movie in theaters called the theatrical window. And that is 90 days. That's been 90 days. So, I mean, you probably, if you didn't know the term or know the length, you probably had some idea of it in the back of your mind, just because when you think about going to, see a movie or something, you typically know, like, you're going to have to wait some length of time in order to be able to see it later anyway. I remember as a kid, like, it felt even longer than that when I was a kid. I don't know if it really was, but it always just felt like forever that I'd just be waiting because, like, your parents wouldn't always take you to the damn movies when you wanted to. So you'd have to sit there and wait, and you'd be waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting just to see a movie, right? So kind of the good news for people who are in that situation where they don't always get to go out to the theaters, within that or 90-day window, rather. This deal that AMC has made with Universal shortens that window to 17 days. So just over 2 weeks now. And there's some good things and some bad things that go along with this. And like I said, probably the best thing that would come out of this is, when you can't make it out to movies, right? Then now you get to go and you don't have to wait all that long, and then you'd be able to see it. So the thing is, though, there's a lot of caveats that come with this. But before I get into the kind of like what I think are the positives and the negatives, I want to hear what you have to say about this, Rick. Do you have like any sort of, I don't know, good feelings about this or bad feelings? Do you think this is a good move, or do you think should kind of stick to the 90-day window there?
Personally, first and foremost, I think it's pretty crazy because I've never really thought about it being 90 days. But, talking about how when we were kids, from the time a movie is released in theaters, the time it comes out on, like, at that time, VHS or DVD or whatever it was, it didn't seem like that long. And to me, too, what was it, 17 days you said?
Yeah, it's gonna be 17 days.
The fact that a movie can come out 17 days after it was released in theaters, I think it's kind of cool, actually, because if there's a movie out there that you really like, that's new, that came out, you've got an easier chance of watching it a lot sooner. And with everything kind of going to streaming services, I think it's pretty cool. So,
Right. So that's the thing, and that's the main benefit. I think that's really the only benefit. That, and like, here's the downside, actually. Let me just get into the one downside with it, because just like that is a positive, it's also a negative. And there's a lot of other studios have came out, and a lot of like theater owners have come out and reacted quite harshly to this deal. Because I spoke about this before on last week's show. The organization NATO, like the National Association
not
of
NATO,
Theater,
the military,
not the military NATO, the National Association of Theater Owners, I believe is what it is. But it's essentially like, think of it like a union for the movie theaters, right? To some capacity.
Yeah.
It's not really what it is, but that's like the most generic way I can explain. But essentially, what it does is that protects a 90-day window, because a 90-day window is beneficial to the theaters more so than it is to, the studios. If the studios had it their way, kind of like with this deal, let me get into the caveat of the deal, because the one
Tell
thing
me.
is the caveat of the deal is that so it's 17 days, but they are allowed to like pick and choose what movies they want to do this with. That's the caveat. That's one of the caveats with the
That's
deal.
weird.
So, and this is the thing. Everybody knows and that movies or movie theaters and studios, they don't make their money from VOD. Like it does like you can't make $1 billion streaming a movie on VOD or putting it on Netflix or whatever. Like it's not going to happen. It's literally impossible to make that happen, because you have to think. Let's say, like, here's a picture of the Trolls World Tour, okay, which was a Universal film. With this, they did end up releasing straight to VOD, for instance. Now, this would be a movie I could see them if they could actually do this deal and do the 17-day thing. This is an example of a movie that I believe they would actually do this with, because
Well, yeah, I think so.
because this movie's not going to make $1 billion,
It's not a blockbuster, box office hit.
right? So I mean, this one's not gonna. It wouldn't hurt the movie theaters as much to not be in theaters longer, and it's gonna make the majority of its money probably like most movies do anymore now. They make the majority of their money in the first 1 to 2 weeks. Primarily opening weekend. They're all front loaded now. Like some movies have legs, like Endgame, people will go in for repeat viewings and go see it. Titanic, was in theaters forever, and just kept people just
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like
Shit.
those movies have legs, and those movies would never do this because they're profitable and far more profitable just staying in theaters for longer and longer. But one of the caveats with this, another one, you're going to hear me say caveat a lot in this segment.
Word of the
I'm sure.
night.
Yeah. If you know that you're only going to have to wait 17 days to see it, why are you going to go to the theater and spend your money?
True.
That's the negative.
Very true. I mean,
That's
it's
the
like
huge negative.
spend money, wait 17 days. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like think of it, because like with Trolls World Tour, for instance, family film. You're a family of 5 would take, the wife and the husband and the wife would take their 3 kids to go see it. They're going to spend $10-15 per person for a ticket. So easily going to be $100-$150 they'll spend after drinks and the concessions and everything at the theater to see just Trolls World Tour. That family of 5 is going to be like, well, I could just wait 2.5 weeks and pay $20 and get it on VOD and throw in some microwave popcorn. Literally save a fifth of, it's like at cost a fifth of what they would spend.
You're not even paying for the gas to drive.
Exactly.
To the theater,
Like because going to the theater anymore is like it is expensive, but it's more of an experience. You know what I mean? You want because that's the main benefit I'd say anymore is like you get to get out of the house, you get to go, have a date or something, but for especially for like big old families, it's very expensive nowadays.
Oh yeah, of course.
So like that's kind of like the negative though, is because like the theaters are the ones that are going to be hurting there, they're not going to be making nearly as much money. Like the theaters get no money if it just goes straight to VOD like Trolls World Tour did. And the thing is, just like they're able to do this and pick and choose like with whatever movie they would want to do this. So like because Universal's, I guess, mindset with this, you could say, at least from what I can gather, because there's been no actual comments from Universal AMC to kind of verbalize what their intent is behind this deal. It's just news of this deal broke in general. But the only way I can kind of rationalize it is with a movie like Trolls World Tour, they would release it in theaters, and if they see that it doesn't have legs, they want to have the ability to pull it off out of the theater, theatrical window of
Yeah.
They don't want to keep it in there for 90 days and they could just dump it on VOD and hopefully get more money out of it than they would keeping it in theaters.
Sure.
So like yeah, that's a benefit for Universal, but that's not a benefit for the theaters. But at the same time, if it's not making money in the theaters, then the theaters wouldn't be showing it on as many screens and they wouldn't be making any money anyway. So I can kind of see that as like a double-edged sword to some capacity, because it's like two sides of a coin, I guess. Because if they want to have the ability to pull the movie off because it's not making money, well, if it's not making money, then the theaters aren't making money off it anyway. So there'd be like, because the argument is that this is very destructive for the theater industry.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
I mean, it absolutely is. But at the same time, if it's not making money anyway, is it destructive? You know, it's like that's one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people like talking about,
Is
because that's the
it?
thing. They're not gonna do this with a movie that, like Fast and the Furious, like a franchise, a Universal franchise, Jurassic Park even. Those are like their two big franchises they have right now that do make $1 billion. They're not gonna pull that out of theaters in 17 days.
No.
It would never happen.
Well, typically, I mean, even if it wasn't that rule, I mean, those movies, there's a lot of movies out there that would last much longer than 17 days in theaters. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
it is what
because
it
it's
is.
making money in theaters.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the thing. Because that is one thing that I seen a lot of people talking about this, and how, and it is true. It is like, on paper, it is destructive for the theater industry, but these guys aren't stupid. Like, I mean, they're good businessmen. They all make a shit ton of money for their respective companies, right? So I don't think that they're just a bunch of idiots. Like, because I know Universal's doing it out of greed. They want to have the ability to try to make as much money as possible. But like,
Well,
I
yeah.
actually do see the benefit of, like, if it's not making money in theaters, and those are the movies they would be pulling. They wouldn't be pulling the monies that are making money in theaters to put on VOD, because then that's not going to help anybody.
No, no.
So like, I don't know, because when I first went into this, like, I actually did just think that this is a really terrible idea, and it's just like the owner of Cineworld in this article here essentially said that it'll be a cold day in hell. It'll be a cold day in hell before Cineworld, which is like the second largest movie chain in the world. They own like Regal Cinemas and everything, so like they're saying there's no fucking way in hell that they would go through with this deal. And that's kind of the thing I was saying, and why I brought up NATO before, because the other caveat of this deal is that it's kind of a moot point, because Universal made this deal with AMC to have this 17-day theatrical window. But if they wanted to do that, they could only do that with AMC right now, because Regal and Cineworld, the second largest chain in the world, they're not going to go through with that.
No.
That means that the only movies they could possibly do this to are movies that they only release in AMC theaters.
Which I don't know. I didn't think that was just a thing. Like,
no, they could only let movies be. They could release Trolls World Tour and only give it to AMC if they wanted to. The problem is, though, that is very destructive for both Universal and the other theater chains, because, I mean, obviously the theater chains are losing out of content to get their money in, but it's super destructive for Universal, because if they want to try to pick and choose, like, okay, Trolls World Tour, for instance, I'm just going to keep using that as an example because it was a picture on the other article.
Trolls, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good example for this, because it is the kind of movie that they would actually do for this. Like, one that. So I mean, that's a good example.
Yeah,
and it's just all I got right now, because honestly, the only Universal franchises I can even think of off the top of my head right now is literally the ones I've mentioned: Fast and Furious, Jurassic Park, and then Trolls. I can't even think of another one. They're not. They haven't really been
the Universal monsters, but
you can't really call that a franchise, though. You know what I mean? And like with those, we talked about it, a week or so ago with like Invisible Man, for instance. They have Blumhouse make that movie for like $6 million, and they make $150 million in the theater. With COVID going on, they made that money, because that movie came out right when like everything started shutting down, and it still managed to make like over $100 million.
That's crazy.
So I mean, they would not have made all that money without the theater chains.
No,
you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like, if they wanted to just give AMC the rights to play, Trolls World Tour, right? And like, they don't give it to Cineworld or anything like that, because they know that they're gonna need to, or it's not gonna make money after like 2 weeks or whatever. So they want to be able to pull that off and blah blah blah. Well, you know what's gonna happen when they want to go and release their big franchise movie like Jurassic Park? So they want to be able to release it on all Regal cinemas and Cineworld and
every.
They're all gonna be like, "Fuck you!"
Exactly.
You just give it to AMC. Have fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
All you get now is AMC theaters. You don't,
and that's going to lose them money.
It's going to lose them in metric ton of money.
Metric fuck ton.
A metric fuck ton, dude. Like, because that's the thing.
I mean, yeah, really.
AMC is like, even if we want to be generous, they only have like, let's say 50% of the market share. So instead of making $1 billion, they're only going to make 500 million now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a good idea.
No.
Not a good idea. And the other kind of like, I don't know if you could even call it a benefit, is that with them making this deal with AMC, AMC, if they were to pull the movie out of theaters and put it on streaming, AMC would then get 10% of the revenue that movie makes on VOD. So it's like, okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
That's good for AMC. But the problem is, kind of like I said, they're only going to do this with movies that are no longer making money in theaters. So let's say, for example, let's say that Universal somehow swindles every other theater chain to get on board and sign this deal. And let's say Cineworld, for instance, they're the second largest. If AMC is getting 10%, then Cineworld's going to want at least 10%.
Oh, for sure.
So then if you want to go to the other ones, like the other big ones, like Landmark, which is like not the biggest, but it's big. And then like Cinemark, I can't remember if they're under Cineworld or not, but like they're going to maybe not get 10%, but maybe they get 7%. Maybe they get 8%. So then like, okay, then you got to compensate for, they put it on iTunes for $20. iTunes takes like 20% of anything that's sold on there.
Yeah.
So like they're slowly going down to a $20 rental or a $20 purchase on, a VOD service. iTunes will get 20%. AMC and Cineworld will get their 10%. So now that's 30% gone.
Yeah, just
then the other theaters get, let's say 5%, but there's like 10 other chains. That could be almost 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like when it's all said and done, they're
fucked.
making 20% profit. They're making 20% of $20. That's their big takeaway for each rental if they were to go through.
So maybe it's not a good idea.
That's kind of like what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
like even because I'm trying to look at it from
after you explained it. Yeah, it was just like, ooh.
Because like I know it's obvious that it's not good for the theater. It's obvious, it's obvious that it's not good for the theaters or the big movies that they would never do this deal on. That like your Jurassic Parks, they're going to go on to make $1 billion by staying in theaters for 30 or 90 days or even longer if they're doing good. So like that stuff's the obvious answer. But once you start breaking down the numbers, knowing that AMC is getting 10% of these rentals, it's like, where are you even making money at this point?
Yeah, seriously.
Like where's it even come from? And then like God forbid if like the other ones do come in, you're gonna make like $2 per movie.
Which is nothing. I mean, compared to what they were making.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. Is like if it's not making any money, because that's what also just kind of boggles my mind with this one. Universal is who owns the stupid Peacock service.
Peacock. I'll never not laugh at saying that.
No, it's just a terrible name. Yeah. And I say stupid because of the name. I don't.
Yeah.
The service is probably great. I mean, hell, they have the rights to The Office for fuck's sake. So. That's probably the best thing they got. I don't know. Can't really think of anything else that was on NBC right now. I guess Parks and Rec was also on NBC, but I don't know if that's tied up in any other deals because I know that was on Netflix that's kind of the same time The Office was, but it came on later. So
yeah.
That aside, Peacock's just a shitty name. But if they're like
pretty shitty,
they should just be doing what like HBO does, what Warner does, dude. Like their whole thing with HBO Max is, and even Disney with Disney Plus, they put the movie in theaters. And then after it does its theatrical run, it's on their own streaming service.
Yeah.
Now you got to subscribe to my streaming service to watch the movie. Now you get more money. You know what I mean? Like that's the smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like and it makes sense for Universal to go after AMC because AMC has been like hemorrhaging money since the pandemic. Like they've had to sign like they just recently signed like a new like loan debt deal to like keep them afloat for I don't know, I think till the first of the year or something.
How many companies are going through that right now too?
I know tons, but like AMC's been, that's the thing too, another thing too, and I heard someone else talking about this, and like it kind of goes along with like I was saying before, going to the movies is an experience, right? It's more than anything. It's you get out of the house, you have to go do something, you make an event out of it, right? And people have always said that like things need to like the movie theaters, and I agree with this that the movie theaters need to make some like make changes to make a more like enjoyable experience, right? And like AMC in particular is one of them. One of the chains that like I primarily go to around here because it's kind of all that's around here
Yeah,
anymore.
really.
But they've done that. They like you have the recliner seats, and then we have like the dine-in theater. Like ours, the closest one here is a dine-in theater. So like you go, you have
Pretty
the
nice.
yeah, it's really nice. You have the recliner seats. The waiter comes and gives you food. You can get hot food. You
You
get
get
popcorn.
anything you want
Yeah,
while you're just
yeah,
watching the movie.
and
Yeah.
it's just given to you, and it doesn't interrupt your viewing experience.
You're like in
Like
separate seats with like their own little desktops too,
yeah,
which is
it's
pretty
good.
cool.
It's great.
I like it.
Like it's great, and that's the thing.
And
Like
they're a distillery.
the only thing, yeah, they have bars. You know, like a lot of them have that now too. Like even one that's up in I forget what it is, but it's a Cinema Deluxe. It's the only one around here that actually has an IMAX theater.
Is that up in
Like
Westchester?
Springdale. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that one, it doesn't have the recliner seats or anything, but it was around before the AMCs were around this area.
Yeah.
So that was like the primo spot to go because, I mean, they had the IMAX theater for one, but they also were like the first place around that had a bar in there and they let you take your drinks
Can't
into the
argue with
theater with
that.
you and everything. So it was like,
Yeah.
well, hell yeah.
I can
AMC
drink and watch movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, this is great. But then AMC came around in these parts and like they just like
These
made it even
parts.
better. Yeah, I mean, with the like I said, the recliner seats, you know, it's making it a better experience for everybody. Because that's the thing, as the ticket prices go up, and the ticket prices go up because these fucking studios keep spending $200 million on making movies.
Blame
So-
Marty.
Yeah, if they're making $200 million, or if they got to spend $200 million for one movie, that's why your fucking ticket costs $15-20. If every
It's
studio
gone up so much
yeah,
too.
it's insane. I mean, it's been, like I said, it's been a good experience anymore, but like, is it worth $20-30 for one person to go? Like, that's the thing. I remember going to the IMAX theater, and especially what I always hated too is because a lot of these places, and these are the kind of the scummy ones in my opinion. Like, you go and, pardon,
Drinking your scotch.
yeah, you go to the theater though, and the only showings they have are for 3D.
Yeah.
And you know why they only have it for 3D? Because they fucking charge more. They can charge more for 3D.
Yeah, they charge like an extra $5 or $10. don't they?
Exactly. So you want to go and you want to see just something, and you know, I don't like 3D movies, even if the movie's made for 3D.
It's all novelty.
Yeah, I'd rather not do it, especially for glasses wearers. I think we talked about this before. It's not fun. And then also the whole, let's go watch this beautiful IMAX movie. You know, this Christopher Nolan IMAX movie. You know, it's beautifully shot with IMAX cameras, and here is some fucking tinted film to put over your eyes and ruin the whole experience. It's just stupid, man. But it's just worse because it's just scummy as hell. Because a lot of places will go in and they'll have 2D showings at 3 p.m., but 8 3D showings.
Yeah.
And it's like they just force you in to getting the 3D ones so they can make more money. And not every chain does that, but there are some out there, and it's really annoying.
I remember
it's
paying
super
substantially
shitty.
more to see 3D movies. It's been a while, but
Sucks, dude.
yeah. I mean, it's not worth it. It's like, oh, it's coming out of the screen.
Oh, well, that's the thing too. It's like it's always those are the worst movies too. And like we were talking about this before, when we were talking about Avatar, I think, because like Avatar at least made it like
The scenes they shoot for that, it's literally like it's just designed to shoot out of the screen.
Yeah.
Like something's coming
and
towards you.
that's
or-
doing it wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's doing it wrong. Especially too, there's a lot of them that like when the movies completely aren't shot for 2D and they're just 3D transfers, those just look terrible. Because then you don't even get the added like benefit of the whoas. It's just like it's just a shitty 3D transfer. So it's just making everything pop out all fucking weird. It's just annoying. And the only other thing, like the only thing I really think theaters need to do, and this has been a huge problem I've noticed with AMC lately, is I go to watch a movie. And it's been a while since I've been able to go and watch a movie, but just because, you know, everything that's going on right now.
True.
But dude, I go to a 7 p.m. showing of a movie. When do you think the movie starts?
7:30.
Yeah, it starts at 7:30 because they're not playing trailers, they're playing ads.
Yeah.
They're playing ads.
They don't really play that many trailers anymore.
No. Like, dude, they'll play ads for like 25 minutes. And then they'll go in and start playing trailers. Maybe they play 3, maybe they play 5. And if they play 5 on top of your 25-minute ads, maybe your 7 o'clock movie is now starting at 7:45.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Like you go to pay them, you pay for that seat. You paid for a ticket that says 7 p.m.
I know, right?
7 p.m.
Like show up at 6:30, movie starts at 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's the
And
opposite.
that's how it used to be. Back in the day, they'd play all the trailers and stuff before the start time.
Yeah.
Like they'd play
now that's when everything starts.
Yeah, now they make you sit through it all. And like I get it, you gotta play the ads. If people pay, it helps the theaters to run those ads. Like the ad companies are paying them, blah blah. Like I get it. But 30 minutes of them? Like that's a bit, and then you still have to do trailers? That's fucking excessive, dude. And it's like I feel like they literally need to there needs to be a law against it in all honesty. Like it's literally false advertisement. You're buying a ticket to go see a movie at 7 p.m. and it's not.
It's like, what have you got shit to do after the movie's supposed to be over?
What's another thing too? And they switch it up sometimes too. And I've actually seen people who work at theaters say this. Like they don't always do 30 minutes of it, right? So sometimes they'll only play like 5 minutes of ads and then 2 trailers. So the movie actually started at 7:15. But because what people started doing was they know there's going to be 30 minutes of ads, so they wait until 7:30 to show up for the 7 p.m. movie. So they don't do that every time, so that you show up and you just miss 15 minutes of the movie because, oh, they didn't play any fucking ads this time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So now they literally force you to have to be there at that time, which is genius in all honesty. Like, I mean, it's scummy.
Heinous, but genius.
Scummy as fuck, but genius.
Yeah.
So seriously, when it comes down to like improving the theater going experience, just get rid of the trailers. That's really all I need. Not the trailers, but the ads. Like if you want to play ads, that's fine. But the movie should not start after ads and trailers. I'm saying 20 minutes tops. And if you want to play a bunch of ads, you need to tell me when the movie starts and then when like seating.
So I know when to actually get there.
Yeah, because if you want to say doors open at 7, show starts at 7:30.
Well, how many times too do you like rush to the movie theater thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be late, and then you get there and you sit through 30 minutes worth of ads?
Yeah,
like
it's all the time. Dude.
Stupid.
It's all the time. That's things I actually like watching trailers in the theater, like from time to time. Like
because you see stuff that you haven't like seen yet.
Well, normally anymore, it's all on YouTube. So I mean, it's not because back in the day it was great because you'd actually really would be surprised by what you're seeing. But I mean, anymore, I know it all, but I like to see it on the big screen, just like I want to see the movie on the big screen.
Sure.
You know what I mean, that's the thing. Like if I go to the theater, it's because I want to see that particular movie on the big screen. Because like I'm not one of those people who thinks that like every movie has to be seen on the big screen. Like I honestly don't.
I don't rarely
go
to movie theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I love going to the theater, but like I know it's sacrilegious to a lot of like movie fans and stuff, but I really only go for like big cinematic things. Like
like Endgame or
yeah, like I'm not gonna go watch like Marriage Story in theaters. Like I'm not,
you don't want to see Kylo Ren and Scarlett Johansson.
That movie. I watched the movie. It's a great movie. I don't think I need to watch that.
Black Widow.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Yeah,
it was really good. I don't need to go see it in theaters though. It's not a movie that lends itself to being like a cinematic fucking experience. It's just a really good story.
Yeah,
I don't need to see like a 90.
You can watch it on your TV at home and you'll be fine.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. But I want to go see like Jurassic Park or Endgame or like some big ass like theatrical experience kind of movie. I want to see that in theater, of course,
for sure.
I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go see all these indies in theaters just because like I don't find pleasure in it.
Well, they have indie theaters like Marymount Theater where they play like nothing but those like movies.
I mean, that's fine if you're into that.
I used to work there.
I just don't like making because honestly, like all the negative detractors I just said about theaters, I don't find that a good experience. Like to go, it's like I find it worth it to go and pay $20 a ticket or whatever, and 10. Because that's the thing too. I mean, $10 for a bucket of popcorn, dude. Like that's literally how much it costs. It's $9 for popcorn.
Fucking ridiculous.
And it's like, I know they got enough to feed everybody in that theater for $1.
That's why I like going to Pierce Point because it's unlimited. You just fill that motherfucker up over and over again.
That was how the one by JJ's was for the longest time. Like you just go and they'd give it to you and like that was it. But
true. There's a self-serve though.
There wasn't oh yeah, the Pierce Point one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get as much butter as you want. I mean, like
that is the one thing I do. I like the butter dispensers and the Pierce. They have the different cheeses you can put on it.
Oh yeah, like the powdered, like the shake on stuff.
That's my shit, dude. I love the white cheddar cheese,
Parmesan garlic.
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know, dude. I feel like when you put too many flavors into it, it kind of ruins the popcorn experience.
It definitely overpowers the flavor.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But anyway, guys, I think that about covers everything that I really had on this.
I've got nothing else.
Yeah, it's destructive for the movie theater industry, obviously. But again, the one thing I don't see a lot of people talking about with this is that they obviously would only be doing this with movies that aren't making money anymore in the theaters. So again, I don't really know what the big problem would be at that point. Like, and I know like it would kind of vary from theater to theater, but you got to look at it from more of a global aspect, I guess, because if the movie was making $1,000 a day, and all of a sudden it's making like $100 a day, what's the point at that point? Like that's a big variance there, and it would almost do the theaters a favor and them like Universal a favor to just not even show it on the screens anymore. Because if the theaters are going to start going from 10 showings, every 2 hours to one showing every 2 hours, the theaters aren't really getting anything out of that. And those are the movies I feel like would be the only ones they would actually pull off and do that. At least if I was running the damn companies, that's the only way I would do it. But I mean, I'm a fucking nobody and don't run these companies, so I don't know if I would really take my advice on it. But that's the only way I can really rationalize it in my mind. So anyway, guys, well, what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So our next topic is something I didn't really expect. This came completely out of left field. It was if you were to ask me on a scale of like 1 to 10, I don't know what star do you think would return to an ailing franchise that kind of died after the first one, but continued to have like 4 movies afterward, was going to return to another movie in this franchise? I would have never guessed it would be Courtney Cox returning to Scream. That's for sure. So that's the news that we got today, is that like Courtney Cox is returning to a new installment of the Scream franchise. And I say that because, I say like came out of left field and everything because, one, I pretty much thought that the Scream franchise was kind of dead after. I'll give Scream 2 the benefit of the doubt, I guess. It's been a while since I've seen it, but pretty much since Scream 2, I pretty much thought it was dead. I almost could have considered this to, I don't know, kind of be a one-hit wonder as far as the franchise goes, because I actually did really like the first one. I thought it was a good, fun, like horror movie. Like it was like a comedy horror movie. It was almost like a Scary Movie without being a parody. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, it was a comedy horror movie, like for the most part. And I got a lot of enjoyment out of that first Scream movie. I know I loved it as a kid. I mean, it had a lot of pop culture resonance there for a while. Like you still to this day see Ghostface costumes on Halloween. Like, so I mean, I'll give it credit for that. But yeah, I would have never thought that of all the things that like Courtney Cox even would return to before a fucking Friends reunion, we're getting Courtney Cox back in the Scream franchise. That's the only sacrilegious thing that I would really have to
I'm just going to say it. Fuck Friends.
Fuck Friends?
Fuck Friends.
All right, show's over. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
See it?
Friends is awesome, dude. What are you talking about? You don't like Friends? You don't like Friends?
I'm not a fan. I like Jennifer Aniston. Call me.
This is more disappointing than you not liking Scream, dude. And I don't care about liking Scream.
Let me say really quick before we get off into this, just to explain to our viewers. It's not that I don't like Scream. I was actually the Ghostface killer for Halloween one year. I'll admit it. I had the knife with the fake blood and all that stuff. But I'm an OG horror fan. Like when it comes to horror movies, I like the original Halloweens, the original Friday the 13th, maybe even a little Nightmare on Elm Street. And then like The Exorcist, like I'm into like some old school stuff. And to me, the thing that I didn't like about Scream, it was just goofy. It's like you said, it was like a comedy.
That was the point, though.
Shaggy was the villain.
He wasn't Shaggy at this time either. You can't say that. Like, and Matthew Lillard's a fucking
good actor. Dude. He's a good actor.
You ever see 13 Ghosts?
I remember just seeing that final
13 Ghosts.
No.
That was a good fucking movie. It started only.
I remember the final scene of Scream where they finally reveal like themselves, the dude and Matthew Lillard.
I didn't like
it. And it was just so like,
I didn't like it. I honestly, I agree.
It was stupid as fuck.
I didn't like the ending. I thought it was kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's both of them. It wasn't.
Yeah, and like they were acting all goofy and weird about
I
it.
get
Like,
it. I
we're
get,
psychopathic.
but I mean, I love the opening scene of that movie though. Like,
Nobody
I
will.
actually like that. Like,
Nope.
this bitch got like gutted. Drew Barrymore's fucking gutted with her fucking guts hanging out.
Don't hate on Drew Barrymore.
Dude, I just said she got gutted. Like, it was great. That was a really cool way to open the movie.
She cute. But no, what I was gonna say is the best horror person you can never beat, and I think honestly Scream drew a lot of references from this. Michael Myers, the original, not Rob Zombie, not the new stuff, the original Michael Myers.
I like the new one.
The new one, honestly, with Jamie Lee Curtis was great.
The actual like sequel to
that was great. And there's going to be another one actually after that.
Did you see the little tease for it?
I did not.
There was a little tease for it. It picks up immediately after.
Which is weird because, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie,
I know
Michael Myers is burning in the house.
That's where it picks up.
How did he escape?
Listen, no, it picks up. The scene is this opening scene. I'm assuming this is the opening scene. It picks up. This is a little teaser they just released, bruh. It picks up with Jamie Lee Curtis and her daughter and everything. They're in the back of a truck leaving the thing.
The house,
and a bunch of fire trucks are going past them.
Yeah.
So Jamie Lee Curtis is fucking just flipping out like, no! But, you know, so obviously he's good after that because they go and put the fucking fire out. And that's how the movie starts.
Then Michael Myers kills all the firemen.
And then it's...
Dude, you can't beat that theme either.
The theme is... Here's the thing, though, buddy. I'm going to tell you
that's
right now.
If
the theme is the best part, then you're doing something wrong.
No. It's all about the mask. When you see that mask, that no face, just blank mask. It's just...
The Shatner mask?
His original name... it's a William Shatner Star Trek mask. But his original name in the movie, in the 1978 version of Halloween, was The Shape. They didn't even call him, like... Michael Myers. I mean, they referred to him as
like the Slipknot song.
Yeah, The Shape. And dude, like the scenes where like the girls are walking home from school and you just see Michael Myers staring out from behind a bush. Like that is so creepy. And like he was just
time you watched the original Halloween.
Last October, I think.
I think that's when I watched it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, it's great.
It was still good.
Well, and the Friday the 13th, which I mentioned before too, I've always had a thing for Jason. Weirdly enough, because my parents bought me a hockey mask like that when I was like 5 years old, and I just kind of had an obsession.
Jason's look was the best thing about Jason.
Jason was cool, but the movies were cheesy as fuck.
The movies suck.
Yeah, the movies weren't great, but I like Jason as a character.
You know,
I like the idea of Jason.
Everybody hates Freddy vs. Jason.
Dude, that movie's great.
I like that movie, dude.
I saw that movie in theaters and I loved it.
No, I thought that movie was great because that's the thing. I don't like any of the Jason movies, but I like Jason as a character. Yeah. And I don't really like the Freddy Krueger movies, but I like Freddy Krueger as a character.
And then you get to see him face off.
I get to see them both.
Jason chops Freddy's head off.
Yeah, dude, I honestly thought like if anything, it was the best rendition of those two characters. Like the movie wasn't great. But it was a really good rendition of both those characters, and it was just fun.
Yeah, to be fair, I was like 13 years old when I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
But
like a long time.
I don't know. I just like the hockey man. I like
the end sucked. I remember the end sucked though, because the end of Freddy vs. Jason, it's like, doesn't Freddy just sit there and like dream world him drowning?
No, what ends up happening, Jason decapitates him, and then like I think one of the final scenes is like Jason walking down the dock all burnt up and shit with Freddy's head in his hand, and then like he's got Freddy's head in his hand, and Freddy's just like, and you're like, oh, he's not dead, and then nothing ever happened of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing though, when it comes to the Scream thing. All right,
let's get back to Scream.
Back to the Scream thing. All right, I'm fine with. Honestly, I don't know at this point. Are they gonna bring Dewey back? Are they gonna bring? Or did Dewey die?
Dewey was in fucking Scary Movie, man. That wasn't even fucking Scream.
No, Dewey was that dude. Oh fuck! It's right here, dude. Look.
One thing I will say while we're on the subject,
David
of Scream,
Arquette, Deputy Dewey. What the fuck are you talking about?
Deputy Dewey was. Dude, I swear to
it's full cast and crew of Scream, dude. He's
Deputy Dewey was it. Well, I'll put it this way: it's Scary Movie. There was a Deputy Dewey, and he was played by David Arquette.
We probably just came in and did it as a fucking parody. I don't even remember the Scary Movie movies.
They were bad, but
I know they were. I liked Scary Movie 2 with the hand guy. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that bit more than anything. Those movies did kind of suck, but they were funny for what they were. The parody movie is such a dead genre. When was the last time we saw a parody movie? Like when was
It's like the
last fucking
Weird
time?
Al of movies, just like
No, because Weird Al is actually good.
True.
So you can't. It's not really that. Like I don't know though. I'm of two minds with this Scream thing though. Like if they have a good idea for Scream, then sure. But kind of like I feel like with a
Well,
lot.
hey,
What
I meant to mention this. Didn't they make a Scream remake for like MTV specifically a couple years back?
they did.
And the ghost face looked like a little kind of wonky.
It looks
and,
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
I never
pull it
really
up.
heard or watched it or
Let me
anything
pull
like
it up.
that.
I didn't
so-
like the ghost face mask.
Yeah, he looked more like, I don't know. It looks similar, but it's not.
Speaking of MTV, when the fuck? Just more of them not playing music. You know what
I mean, at this point, just change your name.
I know.
MTV Music Television,
Like maybe. Is that what the M stands for? Is like maybe.
maybe
This
music.
is what it looked like in that show. I
Yeah.
don't like it at all. It looks like a baby.
It looks creepy, but it just does.
Slipknot mask.
It really does.
Like that's what I would.
It looks like Sid Wilson's
Yeah,
mask,
it
or
looks
like,
like
yeah.
Corey Taylor fucking doing something in that mask. That's not Ghostface, man.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing that mask at the Halloween stores. Like, what the hell
Like,
was
dude,
this?
look, that is such a big. Like, granted, yes, I will say 100%. This is creepier.
It's creepier.
It's creepier.
See, but like I
it
told
doesn't
you,
mean it's better.
I had the Ghostface Halloween costume, and it was the one on the right, like
Yeah.
the OG.
Dude, Attack on Titan.
I don't even think that's very creepy, though. Like,
No,
let's
it's
be
not
real.
creepy
Like,
at
if a guy with a knife was chasing after you in that mask, would you not just be like,
No, because you know what? The way the eyes are shaped, it makes him look sad.
oh,
know
I'm
what I
gonna
mean?
kill you?
What? Help me! Like that's what I've always kind of thought. And I don't think the mask is spooky though.
No, I don't.
Like I've
find that
never thought
spooky.
it was spooky or anything. I just don't like. I don't know.
Hopefully, one
If
way or
you're gonna
another.
I just here's the thing with something like the Scream thing, right? If you're gonna redo it, I don't really think that you should redo the look of Ghostface.
No.
Granted, I don't know the story.
You could like modernize it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, you can make it look. I feel like with something like that,
They tried that with
Because,
the
like,
MTV series.
but
but-
they did- well, let's say I don't know the story behind that. Look, because if they were to say like in the Scream TV series that this is like someone paying homage to Ghostface, so like the real Ghostface exists already, and this is just like someone paying homage to it with their own mask, then that's fine. If they're saying that like this is their Ghostface, you know, like how they changed Batman's suit, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but they don't change it in a way that like he's not Batman anymore.
Well, like even in the new Halloween movies, they didn't fuck with his mask. Like, I mean,
Well, no,
that's
that's like the
the
original
most
mask.
iconic part. Like,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, they made it look better and more modern. They made it fit the actor's face more.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't like oversized.
You finally got like a good glimpse at Michael Myers unmasked, and
Yeah. And like,
it's like
I
an
just
old
feel
man.
like with this Ghostface rendition here is like they took it and like they completely. It's not the same. Like, it's a completely new thing. Is what I get from looking at it. Like, it's not. It's not the
same, but different. like-
It's not the same thing. It's got like the leather straps on it, like you know what I mean. It's got like the buckles on it. It makes
It definitely looks a little weirder.
it
It's
makes it look-
creepier.
no, it's
Sure.
creepier, and I like the overall look of it, but it's not like the same. If you were to show me a clip from this and just say like this is a remake of a franchise, what is it? It's like I don't really know if I would say it was from Scream. Like I really don't think I would.
No,
Because
it wouldn't be my
it's-
first guess.
It's too different.
Yeah.
Like if you were to show a clip of it and not even say a remake thing, just like guess what this is, I'd
Well,
be
the
like,
thing I
I have
think-
no idea.
The part I think I didn't like about Scream to begin with is, you know, like with Michael Myers and Jason and all that sort of stuff, like they're like supernatural. Jason's like the zombie. You kill him, he comes back. You kill him, he comes back. Michael Myers just happens to escape everything. Scream was a couple teenagers in a goofy mask with a knife.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think that was kind of the good thing about it, though. I think that's the one thing that, like, that's what separated it from it, though. That's what made it be its own thing.
they weren't like supernatural. It was
'cause that's
just like a straight up murderer with.
Well, yeah, because it was like, I feel like Scream, in and of itself, was kind of like a more modern take on Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy Krueger, because all of those movies had that supernatural element to it to some capacity. You know what I mean? Less so with Michael Myers because and if you were
He
just
was
wanna
an alive
well,
person.
if you wanna just look at the original Halloween, the only thing that lent any sort of, like, disbelief, I guess, is, like, he did get shot a couple times, and he just kinda kept coming,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Well, in the new movie, he gets shot in the hand. He keeps coming. Like,
Yeah,
gets
and
his
that's
fingers blown off by a shotgun.
right, and he doesn't have any of that kinda, like, supernatural element to it till you get to, like, Halloween H2O kinda shit. Well, actually, no. They had
Those movies
the
suck.
Halloween, the one with the witches. The one that didn't even have Michael Myers in it. You remember that one? The Curse of Mike was it the Curse
I
of
do.
Michael
Yeah, they were
Myers?
literally witches. Yeah,
Yeah, like, I never even watched that movie, though. Did you ever see that one?
I didn't. Probably on purpose, but
It's probably a good idea, yeah. I never
yeah.
saw it either.
Well,
But,
no, like, and I remember like H2O coming out, and there were a
I
couple
actually
other
didn't
ones.
mind H2O. I'm not
I didn't
gonna
like his
lie.
mask because they messed. They didn't have like the Shatner mask. They had like some weird, just like generic white face mask with brown hair, and you got to go with like the
I think it was the
OG.
same mask.
It
It was just like
it wasn't.
it was new and clean.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same design facial structure wise. Like I used to collect Michael Myers masks, as dumb as that sounds. And like there's a thing with like the lips and the eyes, and it's the same with like the Jason hockey masks. Like they're very specific about the way they
No, you're
look.
right. It is fucking weird.
It's like totally different versus the Shatner mask. And the Shatner mask, which was originally a Star Trek mask where they cut the eyes out and they painted it white with appliance spray paint, weirdly enough. You know a lot about that stuff. That to me is like Michael Myers.
Trying to find a comparison picture.
I don't know if there's like a comparison out there, but you can pull up like the one picture of like the H2O versus, because I remember my cousin had the H2O mask and I had the OG mask. And I was like, my mask is way cooler than yours. And
Here, this is a video of some guy who has all of them.
yeah, you can see the difference.
Yeah, I can tell
On
you
the
right
very
now, just
end
by
there,
looking at it,
to the
it's
far
the
right,
one
that's
top.
Halloween 2.
Yeah,
Or no, that's I don't know.
the second one from and to the right is the H2O one.
Yeah. And it's definitely a different like shape and face
Yeah.
altogether. But
Yeah, honestly, the one on the far right looks like Michael Jackson.
doesn't
it? Like,
it does.
I think they got the wrong fucking Michael here, dude.
Yeah.
It's not the same
Michael
thing.
Jackson, Michael Myers.
No, that's fucking weird.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still stand by that the
As
first
long as
Scream movie's good.
As long as Courtney Cox doesn't have that same haircut,
She has to. No, she's not gonna have
like the
that.
crazy bangs or whatever it was. Like there's memes about it.
She's
and
not
stuff.
gonna have that. She's got this haircut going on. This is I guarantee she's gonna look just like this. And I can
Courtney Cox is a very good looking woman. Like she's not gonna mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I always honestly, dude, I
That was
always
a product
preferred
of the
her and Friends. Honestly, I was more of a Monica person. Jennifer Aniston, like Rachel, is just too. She was too clean. You know what I mean?
I didn't even watch it. I just like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm talking to here. You said you didn't like Friends, so I mean, you need to get the fuck out. Still, we're wrapping this show up because of that soon. That's ridiculous. How do you not? Why don't you like Friends?
Joey
Joey
and Chandler.
awesome. Joey and Chandler are the best fucking characters. How many episodes of Friends have you seen? What happened to you as a child? Who hurt?
I like Ross.
Yeah, Ross is great.
Who hurt me?
Ross is great, dude.
I like Ross.
But they're all great. I don't understand. Friends is so good. I can understand if you're like, I don't really like it, but you seem to be just like, oh, fuck Friends, dude. Like it did.
And maybe
to
people
you.
that were like previously in my life that love Friends that it's hard to explain.
That's me. What are you talking about?
There's other people.
Dude, they don't matter though. They don't matter. You know who matters?
I remember my
Friends
ex and I for
matter.
Christmas. We went to her family's Christmas party and we got a Friends like Uno set. And we were like, "What the fuck are we gonna do with this?" And we didn't.
Oh, I almost won Friends trivia on a cruise. I say almost because the other people were totally fucking cheating. No, I wasn't cheating.
Bastards.
I wasn't fucking cheating. But I did win on another cruise. You know what I did win? Game of Thrones trivia.
You and cruises, man. I want to go on a cruise.
Cruises are fun, dude. They're pretty fun. Like, it depends on where you go. It depends on what you do, obviously. I tell you what, dude, when it comes to cruises, I like the actual, and this might be weird for a lot of people, but I like the actual cruise part kind of more than the like docking part. Because like what happens on the cruise is like, say you go to Caribbean cruise or something, or you go to the Bahamas or something, right? You're on the cruise, and depending on which one you go to, you'll be on like one day and night on the boat, and then you'll dock somewhere. Then you'll have a day on the island.
You prefer the boat part of it?
Yeah, I think the boat part's almost more fun, dude.
Oh hell yeah!
I've
never been on one.
They got casinos, they got pools,
they got alcohol.
They got alcohol everywhere. You can buy like if you can buy like like an unlimited alcohol card thing, but it's like $500.
Yeah, but it's cool because you can go up and drink whenever you want to.
If you plan on drinking a lot, because that's the thing, I do the math beforehand to see like, okay, like I drink scotch, so like they charge this for like a single, this for a double. How often am I going to be drinking? Blah blah. And like realistically speaking, I don't spend that much money on alcohol while I'm there. So another thing you can do though, and this is what I did last time. This is like fucking 5 head here, 200 IQ. I was looking on their store, and you can pre-purchase some stuff to just have in your room, like when you arrive. And like one of the things was like a bottle of scotch and like 6 Cokes for like $60.
That's not bad.
And it's like, yeah, you're paying because it wasn't like a handle.
It's like a mini bar almost.
Yeah, it was like, but it was like a 750 milliliter bottle of scotch. Like
was it like good
not
stuff?
A fucking fifth. Yeah, it was Dewar's. It wasn't Dewar's 12-year, but it was Dewar's, which was like fine. But I got a bottle of scotch just in my room waiting for me that I could just pour into a cup and take whenever I wanted to drink. So it's like I didn't have to go and spend $10 for a double. I just go and pour myself a bottle, pour myself a glass, fill it up wherever the fuck I want, and I just leave. And it's only 5 days anyway. So I mean, if you have your whole bottle of scotch there, I mean, if you're there just trying to get fucked up and party, yeah, you might need more than a bottle of scotch. But like normally, and I mean, the times I go, it's just like me and the wife, and we're not trying to get like fucking hammered and just fucking party. Like we're trying to have fun, and like we still have to. We do like excursions and stuff on the islands and shit.
Yeah, so, you're not just like getting shit.
Yeah, so I don't want to get shit faced and hung over, and then not to mention they have like a full gym. Like so, like I literally,
you're not trying to like work out.
Yeah, like I wake up every morning and go work out, and then fucking start.
As you can attest, probably alcohol and working out do not mix.
No, it's not a good time.
No,
like I was. That's one thing. Like I would never. I don't like. Post workout perfectly fine, especially on the cruise. You're on vacation, so
somebody was telling me one time.
Pump.
They were telling me like, dude, the best pre-workout in the world is Jack Daniels, and I was like, no,
there's some fucking meth head. Who the fuck's
that's what I'm saying. Dude? Like, it's just
best pre. That's like one of the people who fucking drink like a fucking monster at the fucking gym. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's like people I see drinking pre-workout as they're working out. I don't
understand that.
It's called pre-workout. You drink it pre-workout.
That's people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, dude. I'm telling you, that is people. Maybe we should watch those people and just see what they're doing.
Because like some dude like drinking straight up protein shakes as he's working out. I'm like, get afterwards.
Yeah, that's a
drink it afterwards.
I mean, you could pre-work it out, but if you're gonna do a protein shake pre-workout,
drinking it as you're working out though, just drink water.
The only thing I would let.
BCAAs or some shit.
BCAAs that's what I was gonna say. If you want to drink BCAAs during a workout, honestly, that's fine.
A really good thing to also drink during a workout is Gatorade or Powerade with like the carbohydrates, because that helps kind of like fuel you and like replenish you as you're working out. But
and
different subject, different show.
Yeah, you stay tuned for Fitness Fridays. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess closing thoughts on the Scream thing is one. I don't know. It just kind of is what it is. I'm not looking forward to it. I guess it's cool that Courtney Cox is coming back. The only person I mean, is Neve Campbell coming back? Because I feel like that's more intriguing.
I'd be into that.
She was like the driving force of the Scream franchise more so than Courtney Cox was.
Now, I like Neve Campbell a lot more than I like Courtney Cox. So.
No, I like Courtney Cox more as a whole. But as far as the Scream franchise go, like I definitely would prefer Neve Campbell to come back to some capacity. But I could also see the argument of Neve Campbell did come back multiple times in the franchise, so maybe that's not the best idea.
No.
Since they obviously, I guess...
here's the one question. Are they redoing it from scratch? Are they, like, picking up where it left off? Like, what's the
It has to be a continuation, because Courtney Cox is reprising her role as the reporter.
Yeah.
So they're continuing it to some capacity, which is one thing I will say, not to drag this, like, Scream thing on for too long, even though for the last 20 minutes we've maybe talked about Scream for 3 of it. Like, in all reality. But the one thing that the Scream franchise does lend itself to is kind of being able to be infinitely rebooted because it's not a supernatural being. It's not a singular entity. It is from the beginning just some dudes in a costume.
Yeah. It's
So, I
not,
mean,
yeah.
it does lend itself to having a new iteration for every generation, like, kind of to come. So, I mean, it's got that going for it. So, I mean, it's not
I
something that I would
suppose.
rush out to theaters to see, but I mean, I guess in some weird way, and maybe not weird way, but in some way, Courtney Cox coming back, I would not consider it a bad thing. Put it that way. I'll consider it more positive than I would a negative. So,
True.
but the question is, guys, what do you think? Are you happy about them making a Scream, just another installment of the Scream franchise? Or are you kind of like me in some capacities where it's like, well, I never expected this, and why? Or are you kind of like Rick, even where he's just kind of like, what? Fuck Scream? Is that what you say?
I wouldn't say that.
No? Okay. Well, either way, let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So our next topic is going to be back in the world of the DC universe, more specifically the DCEU, and even more specifically the Snyder Cut. So Zack Snyder had recently revealed a little teaser kind of clip of Superman himself, Mr. Henry Cavill, in the black suit, the much teased black suit, leading up to the release of Justice League prior to Zack Snyder being, I don't know, having to step away from the film, being removed from the film, whatever theory you have for it, it is what it is. But anyway, he did tease this black suit, and we never got to see it in the theatrical cut of Justice League, obviously. But he released a little clip of it with him showing up in the Batcave saying, "Oh, you must be Alfred, blah, 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 and whatever." And this all came from, well, actually, this didn't all come from this. This clip was released, but then prior to that, what we're actually going to be talking about here was in an interview that he did on YouTube with this group here. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not too familiar with the group here who held this interview, but in the interview itself, they asked the question that they even said, like, this is a stupid question, but we have to ask it because, kind of like a lot of interview questions, there's a lot of questions that need to be asked, even though you kind of know the answer to it anyway. But they just need, you need that confirmation, like from the person themselves, right? And they asked him if he was going to be using any of the footage that Joss Whedon shot for the Justice League movie at all, like or like in general at all, like any shots, are you going to reuse them to any capacity? And his response was quite interesting. Got a lot of people stirred up, which I don't agree with. So like I don't think anybody. I think people were taking it a little bit out of context, but because what he said was, I'd destroy the movie before I use a single frame that I didn't photograph, the director declared to the trio of Justice Com moderators. So that is the group who held the interview themselves. And he says, that is a fucking hard fact. I'd blow the fucking thing up. And that was Zack Snyder's comments in regards to using any footage
Jeez.
that Joss Whedon shot. Now, I see that you say, geez.
Jeez.
But here's the thing.
Some strong words.
It is some strong words, but we already knew that.
Yeah,
Like, you knew that.
he's just speaking his mind at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, in my opinion, the dude, like, people thought that it was like kind of like distasteful, or he was like talking shit, or like, but no, he didn't say he didn't bring up Joss Whedon at all. He didn't say, oh, the those scenes that Joss shot for the movie were garbage. I would never. He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
But he talked about his own footage, and
yeah, that's
to me that says it all.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I feel like people like are forgetting that like this is the Snyder Cut.
Well, that's how it was originally
Snyder
intended to
Cut.
be. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why would you, Zack Snyder, finally being able to finish this movie that he spent years making and was not able to finish? Why in the world would you use footage you didn't shoot?
Well, to me, just to say it like off the bat, not to like cut into what you're saying or anything like that, but I feel like Justice League was always supposed to be built up kind of like an Avengers sort of thing. You know, like you've got all the ultimate superheroes, whether it be Marvel or DC, all like on the screen at the same time, blah blah blah. And obviously, like the first Justice League cut just didn't do it for people. So the Snyder cut has been talked about. I mean, I follow like Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill on like Instagram and all that. That's like all they've been talking about.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that's the original intended vision of it. And so I get what he's saying.
And that's the thing too, like, is like, because that's the kind of the weird thing too with all this. This is a really weird, like, the Snyder Cut itself is like a singular thing. It's not a normal situation because, like,
When has this ever happened in like movie history before?
it's really to this capacity in the actual context that this exists in. It's kind of the first of its kind. Like, there's
Where it's
been,
like release the real version of the movie.
yeah, there's been plenty of like instances where, like, I mean, even if you go back to Watchmen, Zack Snyder made Watchmen, and Zack Snyder has like 3 different cuts of that movie,
Yeah.
but they're all his cuts, right? Like,
They were good though. Like
they're all good.
you and I watched Watchmen back in the day, and I thought it was good.
I like Watchmen. It's good.
Yeah, I like
There's
Night
no
Owl.
problems with Watchmen.
Dr. Manhattan, shit.
I really like the Watchmen show on HBO too. Did you ever watch that?
No, but I mean, it
Dude, it was
had to do
really
with the same
good.
sort of stuff.
It was actually it was interesting because it was a sequel to the graphic novel. It was not. It was and
So it goes after the graphic novel versus trying to make like an adaptation
Yeah.
of the graphic novel.
yeah, and there was no sequel to the graphic novel. Like, the graphic novel is a standalone thing.
Well, I think personally
So,
too, and I think you could attest to
very
this. Like
ambitious.
Dr. Manhattan is one of the coolest superheroes ever. Like just the
Yeah.
idea of like how he's created, what he does, what his powers are, and all that sort of stuff. Like that's cool. You know, he's more powerful than Superman easily.
Yeah, he's got the God man aspect to him.
He's literally a deity, like
Yeah.
a deity, whatever you want to call it.
It's
on Earth.
deity.
Yeah.
Well,
And like he literally became a god. And I think that's what made him such a cool character. Is like he didn't even care. You know, like to him it was just like a burden more than it was like, wow, I've got superpowers and I can warp space time or whatever.
That's
it
the
is.
interesting thing with Dr. Manhattan, because it could have been really easy just because he is kind of like a god man, right? And like
Yeah.
Superman is kind of the same way. Like, a lot of people say that, like,
I feel like
he's just too powerful.
Dr. Manhattan's like a step above Superman.
He is, and that's the thing. They played it really well to some capacity. He is for sure, and like and that's the thing that like makes Dr. Manhattan interesting. At least what I think, anyway, is that they really showed with his character like just the complexity of his powers and what it did to him changed him.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
mentally.
he went from being a scientist, and the thing is like he's almost like, if I'm using the right word here, like apathetic to the idea that he can basically do anything he wants to, you know. And he's tired of human society, so he goes to Mars. And
Well, that's the thing. Like, no, that's the beauty of it too. It's not that he's just tired of it. It's just it literally is beneath him.
yeah, it's like there's this meme that's out
Right.
there of Dr. Manhattan where it's from the graphic novel, and it says like, I'm tired of being tied up in the entanglement of like human society or whatever it is. Like I feel that shit. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
true.
like I feel that shit.
It's bad that you can relate to a god man in some
Well,
ways,
yeah,
right?
like,
and
but-
when you think about it, yeah.
And he just basically goes to Mars and just lives on Mars by himself because he's just sick and tired of it all. And like that's what I really liked about Dr. Manhattan. He has these powers where he could change the world, but he just like doesn't even care at the same time.
It's
you
not
know?
bad. It's not that he doesn't necessarily care, and like he's just like, man, like, and you're just like,
No, he's
"Ah."
not selfish.
No, yeah, it's more of like
It's just like he's so
it's
above that.
beneath him.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
and
so
not-
he's
and
so
not even
above and
in- yeah,
beyond.
and not even in like a condescending way. It's like, and that's what I think the beauty of Dr. Manhattan is. It's like they made it out to where like he's just on another level now. Like the
But that's
issues
chill.
of man are so beneath the shit that like he's literally on Mars, literally
remember
creating life.
Back in
He
the
is
day,
God.
you
Like,
showed me this scene, and I couldn't tell you what it's from. It's from one of the Justice League animated shows. And what happens basically in this scene is Lex Luthor gets Superman's powers. And he's always been trying to get Superman's powers, but once he finally has
I
them,
think it's from All Star Superman. I think
yeah, once he finally has them, he realizes he's like, there's no reason to be bad. Like, I mean, he was literally seeing like the math equations of space and time
yeah,
that
it's
make
from All-Star Superman.
yeah, like,
Right,
and you know, Dr. Manhattan, I think it's sort of the same thing.
yeah,
And
it really is. It's like once it's like he achieved a level of just higher concept in his brain.
Consciousness, whatever
Yeah,
you want to
this
call it.
he's on
Yeah.
a whole other plane of existence at this point to where, like, it's just trivial matters, and, like, I
Yeah.
feel like they always made that, like, they choreographed that very well. Like,
I like that.
yeah.
And that's what I think it was such a cool, like, concept or, like, characteristic of him as a character.
Yeah,
So
just the way it was written. Because that's the thing, like, with Superman, because, like, a lot of people attribute Superman to also being, like, just, like, a god man, and he's just, like, kinda boring to a lot of
well, he's
people.
got he can beat anybody.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of people find that kinda boring, but, like, and I think that is one thing that in some ways, Doctor Manhattan as a character is more interesting, but also kind of more boring to some degree too, because Superman, at the very least, still has his humanity, whereas
Yeah.
Doctor Manhattan doesn't.
He's like a god.
So, like, if
he's
anything,
untouchable.
it's odd because, like, I like Doctor Manhattan because of that higher concept, but at the same time, it does kind of make him a lot more unrelatable, which is kind of like, which is just was honestly done really well in the Watchmen story because it shows one how Doctor Manhattan deals with all of that, and it also shows with like how everyone around him is affected by that.
Well,
Like,
yeah, because all these
humanity's
people used to
affected by
know him
it.
before he was Dr. Manhattan. He was just
Yeah.
a scientist, like a nuclear
Exactly.
physicist.
Like, yeah, and it's like his ex girlfriend and like all this stuff, and like it's like all of them are just like, well, he's just fucking John's just gone now. Like, John died when Doctor Manhattan was born. Like, just
And the way
like,
they did that in the movie, I thought was super cool. But
yeah.
that
It was good.
aside,
It was good. That movie's good, and that's the thing. Like, back to the Snyder Cut stuff. Like,
we just always go off on some tangent.
no, but it is what it is because it's good shit. But like the Snyder Cut, man, it's the Snyder Cut. Like, I don't know why anybody thought like it would be anything other than the Snyder Cut. It doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Like, the fact that people thought he was being like condescending, like, you can think that, that's fine, but like he wasn't. Like, he wasn't meaning it in a condescending. Even if you want to argue that he was being condescending in some capacity, like, who gives a shit? It's something that, like,
True.
could you imagine spending 2 years doing something and then all of a sudden it's essentially taken away from you and then, like, pretty much butchered to some capacity? Like, this Snyder Cut might come out and it might suck. Okay? It might suck. We don't know. We haven't seen it. But
We'll have to wait and see.
yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But like knowing, like just knowing, like the journey it went on, and like Zack Snyder knows it wasn't well received. Everybody knows it. Zack Snyder said he's never even seen the theatrical cut of Justice League. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
He
yeah.
ain't missing much.
No.
Like, he ain't. But like, that's kind of the thing. It's like, even he doesn't have to be like condescending or shady towards like Joss Whedon. If anything, he's just like condescending about the situation. Like, if you want to say anything, like maybe he's being condescending, but it's just about the situation. Like, and like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like he was. I feel like he was just kind of like just having fun. He was like he was in an interview situation. He's just being like relaxed and cool, kind of like this, like
Yeah.
just like if you asked me, like if I was gonna, like, you've been working real hard on doing this thing, like what are you gonna do with it? Like, I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna fucking, like, why would I use this other footage? Like, why would I do that? That's stupid. No, like, I would say the same exact thing, and I feel like everybody would in the same exact situation. It's just that he's just some big name director in the spotlight, and people, it's almost like cancel culture, dude. Like, that's pretty much what it is. Anybody getting upset about like him saying this was just, I feel like they're just on like a cancel culture kind of bandwagon. Because, like,
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why else you would think, because he didn't call anybody out. He didn't say anything like that you wouldn't say in this situation. He was just having fun. He's just like, no, I'd fucking destroy that thing before I would use someone else's footage. Like, why would I release the Snyder cut if I'm going to use the Whedon cut? Don't make no sense, man. Don't make no sense. But I am excited to see I mean, the Snyder cut in general, but I want
Yeah,
to
for
see what they
sure.
do with the black suit too. I like the black suit.
Yeah.
It looks good. It
Yeah.
looked
You're
good.
quite the DC fan, so
Yeah, I know. I'm very biased with it all, but that's kind of the interesting thing too. Well, at least when it comes to like all these people rallying behind the Snyder cut, in some capacity, it's kind of like odd just because of how divisive everybody was on like Man of Steel. and BVS, the two films that he actually did get to finish.
Yeah.
And like they weren't like huge hits. Like
They really
both
weren't. BVS wasn't.
No, but it did well financially though. It made like $850 million. But it was Batman versus Superman, so everyone was expecting like 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So I mean, whether or not they should be expecting over $1 billion is kind of another story. No one should really be expecting that much money, but when you have Batman and Superman in a movie, it just kind of comes with the territory. Like you're gonna assume $1 billion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like BVS. Did you like BVS?
I did. I mean, like I always use this. I always use this tagline in any of our videos whenever I like a movie, but I don't like love it. I can say it was entertaining. Like I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't like a waste of time watching it. I thought it was entertaining. So.
That's a good answer, though. I mean, if that's kind of how I like to view a lot of things too. It's like
it's the kind of thing like I could watch on a Saturday night, chilling at home, like just enjoying watching it. But like, it's not the kind of thing like I'm gonna be like talking about. Like, nothing to write home
do
about.
The pros outweigh the cons?
Yeah,
and that's really all I look for. Like, and like not in like everything, but it's like as long as it's if the good outweighs the bad, then I consider that a win to some capacity. Like like there are things that I didn't like about there's definitely things I didn't like about Justice League. But there are things I didn't like about BVS.
The Martha scene.
But dude, the Martha scene's okay. It was just
Martha.
It was done wrong.
Yeah.
But the context is fine. Because I feel like it was taken out of context, and granted, it wasn't portrayed very well because the whole concept behind it works. Like he's realizing because that he says save Martha, that he has a mom.
Yeah,
like Bruce Wayne.
It gives him some humanity.
To Bruce Wayne, he's just trying to kill this God man that he saw destroy the fucking world 18 months earlier in Man of Steel, right? He's just like, no, this is fucked up. I'm killing this dude so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
But as soon as he's about to kill him, he realizes it's like Martha, it just it unlocks his brain and realizes like, dude, like, what the fuck am I doing right now? This dude's got a mom. He's just a normal dude.
He's human, but he's not human.
Exactly. Like that's what the scene was trying to represent.
And I think people like all drew back because of that whole like Martha thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was the way it was done wasn't.
Yeah, I remember before I saw it, you told me about that, and I was like, that sounds stupid.
It was, and like the scene itself isn't good, but the concept behind it is good. It would have been better if they even just added in some like flashbacks or something. Just like in that scene, like just something to kind of like instead of it going the way it did, like just cut back to him with like him and like his mom and dad and like
just show like some sort of flashback scene or something.
Dad say like, yeah, let's go, Martha, and just some like happy-go-lucky thing, and like just so like kind of signifies that that's what makes it click in his brain that he needs to stop doing what he's doing. I don't know.
Because I remember that fight, like in the previews and all that originally, like that was like the fight of fights. It's like, here we go, Batman versus Superman.
It was a good fight.
I remember your quote that you told me originally was just like, do you bleed? You will. And it was just like, oh shit, some stuff's going to go down.
It was also kind of a corny line, but like it works. I actually think it's a cool line.
It do work.
I think it's good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I liked it.
I thought it was good. I like the way they did his voice in that movie, and
the voice modulator I thought was a huge step up from
versus Christian.
Just go like not like a detractor guy. Yeah, no detractor from like the Dark Knight trilogy by any means, other than the Dark Knight Rises. That's a detractor, but like after a while, like. Especially if you go back and rewatch it, like I'm sorry, like the Batman voice that Christian Bale does, like isn't very. It's
kind of cheesy.
It's not appealing. Like
no,
it's not bad. It doesn't ruin the movie.
It's just obviously a normal guy talking like this.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And like the Dark Knight is still like the best movie, fucking almost ever. Like it's great.
It's literally rated as like one of the top superhero movies.
Yeah, I guarantee you, had the climate been with comic book movies, like was it? Like how it is now back then, that movie would have been nominated for Best Picture, guaranteed. Like that movie was
Oh, for sure.
The movie is and was amazing. All right.
It is.
Hands down.
To
it's
this
a great
day.
movie. But you can't sit here and tell me that you're gonna pick apart like a Martha scene and all this like stupid shit and the BVS, and you want to nitpick all this other bullshit in all these other movies, and you want to try to defend someone talking like this throughout the whole movie just because. Like, no, this is a fucking. And here's the thing: it's not just because it sounds dumb. And it's like I listen to death metal, so I'm totally fine with that kind of voice.
I'm
like,
cool with the
that
growls.
doesn't
like,
bother
shit.
me in any capacity. It's just what doesn't work for me in my brain anymore is like this dude's a fucking billionaire, builds this suit from scratch,
But he can't make like a
but
voice modulator.
he can't make a voice modulator.
You can buy fucking voice
Like-
modulators on eBay for $30 to like put
fucking
the
Darth
stormtrooper
Vader
helmet.
$10 masks, dude.
Yeah,
like it's like they should have just modulated his fucking voice in post, dude.
Which is like what they did with.
It's exactly
Ben
what they,
Affleck.
and it
Yeah,
sounded
like-
fucking awesome.
It was obviously
Like-
fake, but at the same time, it
But
like it
that's
fit
the
the
point.
character.
Yeah, and like that's the point though. He's just disguising his voice. He would have something on him that could disguise his voice. It fits the character and it doesn't sound stupid. Like, and it's like again, I fucking love those movies. And I love Christian Bale as Batman. But
Yeah.
come on, you gotta be able to fucking knock on it a little bit. And I know people do because people meme on it all the time. Whenever there's any fucking like Saturday Night Live skit or anything like that, whenever you're acting like Batman anymore, everybody talks like this. Everybody.
That's just part
It's
of
like it became a meme without being made fun of because all the movies were
Well,
good.
I remember the first
Like,
time I was hanging out with you, like way back in the day. We watched Batman Begins before The Dark Knight was even out. It was my
Fucking
first
good
time
movie.
watching it. Yeah, great movie. But like that scene where he pulls the guy up by his ankles above the building, he's like, "What the hell is that guy?"
right.
It's
That's a
just
good
like
scene though.
I know, like it's intimidating, but at the same time, it's like so goofy.
That's
but-
the thing. I feel like the voice works in those scenes. Like in those scenes when he's like,
I almost like, I guess
that works.
what
That's
I'm looking
good.
at is as myself, if I was this armored up guy like Batman and all that, and like I was in that situation, if I talked like that, I would laugh at myself. Like I would just be like,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And that's what made it corny in some ways is when he was talking like just to Jim Gordon.
yeah,
He's like,
I'm just talking to you like
yeah,
this.
he's just like, duh, storm's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Storm's coming.
it's like, is it, buddy? Like, something
That was like one of my favorite
like-
lines. Just like,
I really like that scene too because he's just like up there perched up on dude's fucking porch. And he just comes out. His kids are all fucking screaming and shit. He just gets outside to drink a
outside, and
beer.
he's just like,
Yeah. This fucking dude in the bat suit just like
in all reality, like if you were a normal person, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing on my deck?" Like, yeah, come on, man.
Not to
On
mention-
top of looking like that, you sound like this. Like,
well, not to mention this dude's a fucking cob. You surprised he wasn't just like
oh, I'm crying.
yeah, dude.
I'm
But
crying.
yeah,
It's so true.
I still it's good though. It's all
Storm's coming.
it's just I'm telling you, man, it's just the scenes where he's talking like that where it didn't work. It doesn't work.
I think Christian Bale just put a little too much effort into that.
It's not too much effort. It's just I feel like they could have just came up with an easier and better solution and by modulating his voice. Like,
Stop laughing about it.
it's
Like,
just ridiculous. It's ridiculous outside of like
like Christopher Nolan, the genius behind like Inception and Tenet and all these like great movies.
Yeah.
It's like this.
you couldn't come up with the voice modulator idea. And I totally get by because
Just keep talking about it.
all I gotta say is, like I said, the scene where he's interrogating people, fucking do it, dude. Go death metal on the motherfuckers.
Like, could you imagine being interrogated by somebody talking like that? I just feel like, why you talking like this, man? Like,
He's in a bat suit, man.
I'm sorry, I can't
It
stop laughing.
makes sense. I don't know. It's only the scenes where he's like having a civil discourse with somebody, but at the same
Yeah, it's like you could
time-
just talk
yeah,
normally.
it's like, dude, you don't need to talk like that.
like, yo, man, there's some crime going on.
I don't know. Like,
Shit.
it's-
I'm not in Gotham City. I don't know.
right? It is what it is. Those movies are old as fuck anyway. They're great regardless. We all love them. It is what it is. I guess the question here anymore, guys, is what did you guys think about Zack Snyder's comments on this? Are you like me, where you're just kind of thinking like, well, no shit, he's not going to use anybody else's footage. Why would he? Like, and like you just like he wasn't being condescending or like calling anybody out. He was just having fun and just saying like, yeah, dude, that's what, in my opinion, he was getting at with it. So, whatever it is, guys, just let us know down in the comment section below. All right, so our next topic brings us back to the world of Christopher Nolan, but this time with Tenet, as some news has come out that there have actually been some IMAX representatives who have actually seen Tenet already, and a lot of them are saying like the headline says, "Oh my god, I forgot how great it was to be in a movie again." So if you scroll down to just read the rest of the article, which I'm not going to kind of go through all of it, because the general consensus here is that Tenet's really fucking good, which I mean everybody just kind of assumed it would be just because it's Christopher Nolan, and I can't really recall the last time he's made a bad movie other than The Dark Knight Rises, really, in all honesty. But I wouldn't necessarily call it a bad movie. I would just say it's not a great
Subpar.
Yeah, it's just not the. It could have been better, right? It could have been better. So I mean, I don't really like this isn't a very surprising thing to me. I almost just thought it was more interesting that like people had already seen Tenet and just kind of made me more jealous than anything. Just because of all the movies that are coming out this year, it's pretty much just come down to well, I'd like to see Black Widow, but I don't know if that's coming out this year anymore. So
No.
I mean that's the thing. Like with that was supposed to come out back in July, I think, and well, I guess it is July right now. When was it supposed to come out? I think it was supposed to come out in April.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out a long time ago.
It's August right now. It's not July anymore.
Oh no, it's August 1st.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I guess I don't know. I do want to see Black Widow, but they haven't given it a release date. It's just been kind of delayed indefinitely at this point, as opposed to like Disney has pushed back Mulan, and because Mulan was supposed to come out around the same time Tenet's come out, they were going to release together, and every time Tenet bumped its release date, Disney bumped Mulan's release date. But during all this time, they never said, when Black Widow was going to come out.
Right?
It's just Black Widow is just taken off the slate, and like it's just kind of been sitting there on the shelf. So I'm actually kind of curious as to when they're thinking about releasing that. Like
I've seen all the trailers. Like
the trailers looked really good. Here's the thing with Black Widow, not to jump off topic here, we're supposed to be talking about Tenet, but dude, with Black Widow, it's a movie kind of like Han Solo, a Star Wars story that like I never wanted a solo movie ever. Like it didn't sound good. I don't think anybody wanted a Han Solo.
There's a lot of characters you could make better Star Wars movies about.
Yeah, and I mean, especially like I said before, like with the Solo movie, like no one wanted it without Harrison Ford of all things. Like that was kind of the biggest problem with it, in my opinion.
Well, you've got to imagine this guy Aldrin Ehrenreich, whatever his name.
Ehrenreich.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Like you've got to picture him as Han Solo when you're used to seeing Harrison Ford as Han Solo, and it doesn't like flow correctly.
Well, it would have been fine if we didn't just see Harrison Ford's Han Solo. Like he was just in Force Awakens. And I think that's the biggest problem. Like had the original trilogy characters not been in the sequel trilogy and they just decided to make this Han Solo movie, I think people would have been all for it, in all honesty.
True.
I think like the biggest detractor, other than the fact that no one would be, you're always going to have those people out there for any franchise who doesn't want to see someone else take on the mantle of a character.
What do you expect when you're doing a movie 30 years prior to like what? Return of the Jedi or whatever? You're not going to have Harrison Ford playing Han Solo.
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Like, so I mean, if they wanted to make a Han Solo movie,
like if there was a movie about Rick Metz, like I'm not going to be playing myself at 5 years old. You know what I mean? Like, or 10 years old, 15 years old, even. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, because like with the de-aging stuff, like people can say, well, you could just de-age Harrison Ford. Like, it doesn't.
Dude, look at the what is it called? The Irishman. It looked like shit.
Yeah, I mean, some scenes work.
Quite obviously old Robert De Niro with like some CGI. Like,
yeah, and some scenes worked. Like some of it worked good, and I think I talked to you about this before too. Like with The Irishman, what really made it not work, at least for me anyway, was you de-age his face, but he still has that 70-year-old body. Like
exactly.
then,
Well,
like,
he limps like a 70-year-old. He
yeah, and like
walks like a
they
70-year-old.
literally there are scenes where in that movie in particular he's wearing just like a polo shirt and they have put like shoulder pads on it and like a pad on his back to make it like not look like he has, he's an old, not talking shit. Like he's just an old guy. So it's like obviously Robert De Niro's an amazing actor. He's a great dude. But like they have to put it in there so it doesn't look like he's hunched over like a 70-year-old man.
I remember watching
It
The
just looks
Irishman and like the
ridiculous.
de-aging scenes just like didn't convince me at all.
Yeah, I mean it for the face stuff, it looked fine. And I'm telling you, like a lot of it looked really fucking good. Like a
We
lot of
watched
it looked really good.
my ex and I watched The Irishman and like just we watched it like from front to beginning or from beginning to end. Like
The front of the movie.
fuck you. No, from the
We'll
beginning
watch
to the
movies
end.
from the back.
And,
Thank you very much.
Go fuck yourself. No, we watched it, and I remember just thinking the entire time, I was like, not once have I been convinced that Robert De Niro is a young guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, CGI is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it. That's the thing. Like, it's a great job. Like, they did a great job, but it's the fact that it's the uncanny valley stuff. Like, you just know that it's not.
You know, dude's like 70 something years old. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just know that it's not right. So, like, I don't know. It has its ups and downs. But I mean, they did a pretty good job with like. I don't know. It's easier to do with like. I was gonna say, what's his name from Michael Douglas in like the Ant-Man movies and stuff. Like, but he's not as aged as a Robert De Niro is. So like, he's still kind of.
no.
I guess it was easier. I mean, it's still you can totally tell. Even when they de-aged Robert Downey Jr. in what was it, like Civil War. In that one scene where he did like a little flashback thing with his like parents and stuff,
Yeah.
it's still like you can just tell like it's just not perfect by any. But
No.
regardless, I don't even know why we started talking about this shit. With the Tenet stuff though, I'm excited to see Tenet.
Me too.
I'm really looking forward to it. And I mean, I'm kind of jealous that these people got to see it. Dude.
I'll be honest, like, I don't think there's anything that Christopher Nolan's put out that I don't like. So,
No, there's not. No, The Dark Knight Rises.
yeah, that.
I don't like
Yeah.
that either.
I like Tom Hardy. I like Christopher Nolan. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
Best way to put it.
Absolutely, yeah. I like everybody in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, like
I didn't like the movie.
actor and director wise, they're great, but like,
And it's a really well made
Together?
movie. I just don't like it.
yeah,
Like it's all done
the
well.
plane scene was great.
Yeah, I like the plane scene.
This
I like
plane.
Bane. I like Tom Hardy's Bane. Speaking of another, I was gonna say another person that's like, "What's up with your voices, Chris?
That's
You
what
make
I'm
these
saying.
amazing fucking movies, but like you just can't."
Bane's gonna talk like this the entire movie. It's just like
That's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, like that's it.
that's my best impression.
Yeah, it works really well if you have like a solo cup. I used to do it all the time with people.
Dude with my
Yeah.
mouth like that.
It's good.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about this other than the fact that I was just kind of jealous that these people got to see Tenet. In all honesty, like,
no. I agree. I'm right
that's
there
it.
with
Like,
you. I agree.
so that's really it for this topic, guys. I just wanted to like let everybody know that like people have gotten to see it. A lot of people like to just hear that word of mouth is good, right? That's what gets you. That's what gets a lot of people into the movie theater as it is. I don't know if a lot of people really had any doubts that Tenet was going to be very good. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to let you all know that people indeed, like I said right here, they have seen Tenet. This is from Deadline. These guys have seen it. I'm very jealous. They all say it's fucking incredible. And at this point in time, I just can't wait to see it. So let us know down in the comment section below if you're just in the same boat as I am and just like super excited to see it. And did this just get you more excited, or did it just make you just a little bit jealous, like it did me? So just let us know down in the comment section below. All right, so our final topic here today is going to still be in the world of Christopher Nolan. Actually, to some extent, we had to finish this off with kind of like a nice thread here. But with this one, it's going to be about the Inception re-release, the 10-year anniversary Inception re-release in theaters. We got some news about it that it's actually going to be debuting with a first look at Dune. So the first Denis Villeneuve trailer of Dune is going to be attached to the Inception re-release, which I am very excited about. I want to see that very, very badly. And then also a new Wonder Woman 84 trailer, along with a 4-minute like kind of teaser sizzle reel for Tenet that Christopher Nolan had initially made to play at CinemaCon, but CinemaCon got canceled. So now they're using that here. So we get that. So 4 minutes of Tenet, in addition to a 4-minute kind of intro, kind of making of, commentary of Inception that was exclusively made for this re-release by Christopher Nolan, not some, something that was made, during the initial run of the movie, like a new sit down 4-minute kind of the commentary from Chris about the making of Inception, all packed in to the beginning of this re-release, going into arguably Christopher Nolan's best movie, Inception. So, Rick, what are your thoughts about this Inception re-release and all this nice these nice little presents being given in front of it?
Well, Inception's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Hell yeah.
Christopher Nolan, can't beat him. Whether it be like Interstellar, Dark Knight, Inception, whatever. I think it's awesome. And I think that they're kind of giving, Dune is something I don't personally have a lot of experience with. But I know a lot about Dune, even though I haven't really seen a lot of it. And I think it'll be cool shit. Timothy Chalamet, as we saw in that picture, looks like he's one of the main actors in the movie.
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah.
He's great. So, to me, Inception, Timothy Chalamet, we're good.
But that's the thing too with Dune. Like I never read the books of Dune, so I kind of like you. Like I don't know a whole lot about.
Well, you told me. You said the books were better than the movies.
That's from what I hear. The books are fucking incredible, and
well, the movies are great. Well, the movie.
Yeah, dude, here's the thing with the movie. Here's some pictures of it too. I'm just pulling up now. There's the pictures of that we have seen from Dune. I just wanted to kind of show. I don't know if you've seen them.
It looks cool as shit.
That's the thing. The cast for
Oscar
Dune
Isaac,
is great. Yeah, Oscar Isaac or Thanos himself here.
Josh
Brolin looking just mean as hell.
Well, Dune was always supposed to be
Jason Momoa, cleanly shaven, which is super fucking weird.
Jason Momoa is jacked.
But
no,
he's really not that jacked.
He's not that jacked.
He's really not that jacked.
He's cut.
He's just a big dude.
Well, he's cut too, and
he's really not, dude. He only is for the movies. He's like a lot of. He's a smart guy.
Well, Nate and I, Rob Bifo and I, can attest to this. Getting cut and shredded. Building muscle mass is pretty easy when you eat a lot, but getting cut and shredded, that's the hard part. And to me, Jason Momoa, this is totally off subject from Dune, but keeps it up. He really does a good job at staying cut. Because it's weird with you and I, with our fitness experience and all that. I can go from looking like I have a gut to having abs in 2 days, But with him, he just keeps it all the fucking time. And
2 days,
3, I would give it a week, 5 days, business week.
No way. You out of your goddamn mind,
dude. I'm not joking with you. I can go from having a straight up gut to abs in 5 days. It all depends on what you eat and what you consume.
It's 100% diet, but it ain't no 5 days.
Well, I drink a lot of milk too, and milk bloats me.
That's crazy.
A lot of protein, but
that's crazy talk.
Dude, milk bloats me.
It's the milk. It's the milk. That's what does it. But with the Dune shit, dude, I'm super stoked because of Denis Villeneuve, man. Denis Villeneuve is kind of like a Christopher Nolan as far as directors go. And kind of like what you were saying with Christopher Nolan, where he hasn't made a bad movie, right? Christopher Nolan is one of the few directors anymore where the director sells the movie. Because a lot of time, back in the day, especially back in the day, it was the action star, the star sold the movie, right? You put Will Smith in the movie, it'll make money. You put Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie, it'll make money. That kind of thing.
As we've obviously seen with every movie they've been in.
Exactly. That's the thing, but that's not the case anymore.
No.
That hasn't been the case for a couple years now. You put
It's not just about names anymore.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee. There is no more.
There's a lot of great movies out there with like no-name actors.
Exactly. And
You know?
and it's not anymore. It's not about who's in the movie. It's like people. That's the thing. Like people are like a very fickle. We're a very fickle people. Like it's kind of weird just because like I don't know if it's just because maybe like there's so much content out there anymore that like people like you got to be a little bit more picky. Probably, I guess, is a good way to like think about it because like words has been like flooded with content anymore. All the streaming services, movies are coming out. These blockbusters are coming out left and right. So you got to kind of pick and choose what you want to spend your money on.
True.
I mean, it's kind of this way I kind of think about it. Like, and it's kind of like if you've seen all this stuff that's like super, super good without Will Smith, then like you're gonna see something that Will Smith. Not to talk shit about Will. I love Will Smith.
Yeah.
Just kind of the only reason
I feel bad for Will Smith. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen the video.
With his wife or with ex-wife or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
That aside, like I feel bad for Will Smith, but
yeah, Will Smith is a great guy.
Yeah, he really is.
He is really like a great.
He's a guy like I would invite to my personal family dinner and be totally cool with it.
Yeah, for sure. He's awesome. Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I don't know why, dude. You know who else like I feel bad for? This is completely off topic, but I just watched the Michael Jordan documentary.
I like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I love Michael Jordan. But I just watched the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, right? And like, it's on Netflix now, so if you want to watch it, but it's really good. I highly recommend it. And actually, I mean, if you don't like basketball at all, and you don't like or like Michael Jordan was,
if you don't like basketball, you like Michael.
Well, no, that's what, if Michael Jordan was completely before your time, then you're not gonna like this because that is what it's about. Like it's about Michael Jordan and it's about basketball. So if you don't like,
I used to have the starter jackets and
yeah, but we grew up with this stuff. There's a lot of people out there today that
Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, exactly. All these Zoomers out there, though, they have no idea what the fuck you just said.
The best basketball team, like
literally the best basketball team ever.
Yeah,
like hands down, they were the best.
I couldn't name a single person on the Bulls now. Like,
nobody fucking could. The Bulls fucking suck now. Like, but that's the thing. Like, so like in like it was like from 91 to 93, they won the championship 3 years straight. First team to ever win 3 years straight. Then Michael Jordan retired and came back and like won it from like 95 to 98.
We played baseball for a while.
That's what he retired in like 93.
Played for minor league White Sox.
Yeah, it was their minor league team. Yeah, he played that for 2 years, and he came back to the NBA, and then boom, they won 3 championships again, 3 straight. Boom, and that was from 95. If I'm remembering these dates correctly, it was 91 to 93. Then he retired. 2 years, played baseball. Then he came back.
They even made a joke about that in Space Jam.
Huh?
They even made a joke about that in Space Jam of him playing baseball.
Like it was in Space Jam. He didn't actually suck. He wasn't bad at it, and like in real life, he wasn't actually that bad at it. And
I like Michael Jordan as a person. I used to be the kid that like would convince their parents to spend like $120 on a pair of Jordans. Like,
well, here's the thing. This is why I feel bad. I feel bad for him in some capacity because. This is it goes over some stuff about the franchise that you didn't like. I never knew as a kid, and the stuff that you wouldn't pay attention to. But like, the general manager of the team wanted to dismantle the team, the championship-winning team. They wanted to rebuild it, right? They did, and their reason,
like we talking like Scottie Pippen and like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, the '98 team.
Yeah, like the good team.
And like what they were going to do is they weren't going to bring back the coach. And Michael Jordan was said, like, if dude ain't the coach, then I'm not going to be here. Like, not happening.
Can't blame him.
And they let him come out, and, like, they finished that year off. They win the championship. And they essentially let them all go. And, like, at the end of it, like, essentially, like, a lot of people didn't think they were going to win that championship in 98, right?
Oh, they won it.
And, like, they fucking won it. And it was their second time winning 3 in a row, which is unheard of. And if I remember correctly, they're still, like, the only teams who have ever done that.
Well, the Bulls, too, have always been one of those teams that has just, like, the players, you know, like Scottie Pippen.
Not since 1998, dude.
No.
But the thing is, like,
they turned into the USA Dream Team.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like in the Olympics, the Dream Team, they have an episode about that too. And like the Dream Team was fucking crazy too. Like
they had like Patrick Ewing,
everybody, like,
Charles Barkley, like
crazy dude. Like yeah.
So it was like the Space Jam cast on a basketball team.
It was the cast of Space Jam. Essentially, that was the Dream Team, really.
Yeah.
But like at the end of it all, though, like they win the championship. and they dismantle the team, and then like the series ends with Michael Jordan like talking to him, and like he hears like this owner of the Bulls like say all this stuff, like their reasoning behind it was like they didn't want to bring him back because they would have been too expensive to sign them on for like multi-year contracts and all this, because like now after they won all these championships, like they're just going to be too expensive, and it would have been good for the franchise. And it's like basketball is what it is today because of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Like 100%,
No question.
like
No
100
question.
fucking percent. You would not know.
I don't think NBA would exist without
it. Wouldn't, and like so many people in this series say that, like who had no affiliation with the Bulls themselves. They were just like people in the basketball community, right? They all say it, like basketball would not be, the NBA would not be what it is today without Michael Jordan, right?
Well,
And
the
like,
Orlando Magic too.
Well, fucking the Bulls beat the Magic.
Yeah, but
the
Bulls,
Bulls
Shaq
beat
and Penny
Magic.
Hardaway, and
But that they did not make. They all became big names after Michael Jordan.
I don't
After
think that
98.
honestly, like nowadays in the NBA, I don't pay attention to it at all. Obviously,
Well,
like
nowadays it's just LeBron and then the other guy.
LeBron and Steph Curry. That's
That's
all
it.
it is.
That's all it is.
That's
like
all
that's
it
all
is.
anybody
Like
talks
yeah, or James Harden. There's like a couple other people, like what was it, Kevin Durant, like that
Yeah.
are famous. But like back in our day when we were like in elementary school wearing
there were
like
tons
Bulls
of
starter
Kobe,
jackets, dude.
like,
it was like
come on.
every team had like all
like
stars.
Kobe,
on.
Shaq, Magic, like everybody.
I remember like even the
NBA was
Utah
fucking
Jazz
dope back then.
The
dude.
Utah
Like,
Jazz had like John Stockton, like which is this
Yeah,
little
dude.
white guy. Like
yeah, he was good as fuck too.
Yeah.
He was good. But that's the thing. I felt bad, though.
We're getting
I haven't even
really
got to the
off
point where I
subject.
feel bad though. I feel bad for Michael because like he watches this clip, and this is completely off topic, but he watches this clip of a general manager saying this stuff like, "Oh, they'd be too expensive to bring back," and blah blah blah. And like I said, they said that they were going to get rid of the coach, who Michael Jackson already said, like, and the coach was essentially told, like, even if you win this championship, if you were to go like 96-0, like win every game in the league that year, there's no way like you're coming back. I can't remember the coach's name for whatever reason, but like they said, essentially, there's no way that you're going to come back and coach next year. It doesn't matter if you go like 96-0, it's not going to happen.
Sure.
Like they told him that straight up. And then so they win the championship though, and supposedly they offer him to come back for another year. And the coach says, like, no. Like, because probably in his head, because a lot of bureaucracy with it, like he didn't want to do it. And he just said, like, you know what? Like, it was time. We had our run. We won our 3 twice. We had the best team ever. Like it was a good time to leave. And like Michael
Sure.
sees all this clip and stuff, and like the general manager saying like all this shit. And he's just like, pretty much about them being like too expensive and stuff. And he's just like, you know what? If they'd asked me, they'd asked fucking Scottie Pippen, they asked Rodman, they asked all these people to sign a 1-year contract to come back and win our 4th one, 4th in a row kind of thing. They come back and win one more next year because we would have.
It's true.
We'd all done it. Ain't no way in hell no one would have said no to that. If MJ is going to sign, if Pippen's going to sign, if blah, 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 then the coach would sign up too. And not once did anyone come to any of the players there and offer them a 1-year contract to come back and win another championship, essentially. Because like everyone was confident they'd be able to do it. Like everyone knows they would done it. The best team in NBA, hands down. They had one more in them for sure. And like none of them came, like no one got an offer to come. Like and so instead you got MJ retiring pretty much in his prime.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't going to play with anybody else. Pippen gets traded. Rodman gets released from his contract. Like
then hangs out with Kim Jong-un.
The best fucking dynasty in the NBA just dismantled because of essentially greed. Like, like they didn't want to pay the people that built your fucking franchise, essentially. Yeah. And it's just kind of sad. I know this has nothing to do with fucking Dune, but
we've gone from Dune to basketball.
I don't even know how we got to that. But anyway,
it's okay.
This is good. But yeah, so when it comes to Dune, though, I don't know a whole lot about it because I just remember watching the movie as a kid and thinking like
Sting's in it.
Yeah,
and the musician, not the wrestler.
I know. Yeah. I just remember watching it though, and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but this looks really cool, man. Like all the like sand and the dunes.
It's kind of like a mixture of like Star Wars and like Mad Max, kind of.
It's really not though.
It's weird.
It's like in the atmosphere kind of, but not really. It's just because there's like a desert world. Like really, like what? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I'm really.
They used to
excited
always
for
talk
it
about
for-
spice, and I always thought that was like a Star Wars reference.
right. Well, supposedly, from what I understand, spice was pretty much stolen from Dune. Like that whole concept.
Yeah, I
is-
could see that.
Yeah, because like it came before it, if I'm not mistaken. But Christopher Nolan, like I said, is one of those guys who like he sells the movie. You know, he's what brings you to the movie. And for me, Denis Villeneuve is the exact same way. Like it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it. So, but I mean, that's pretty much all I have to go on with this one, man. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. I
Right.
don't know much about Dune other than like I'm excited to see the new one.
yeah, I'm super stoked to see it. Oh, actually, too, just real quick. Does them like? Do you want to go out and see the Inception re-release, knowing that all that stuff's going to be in front of it? Does that
No.
entice you more?
No.
wanna go see
I've got Inception on my laptop. I'll watch it if I want to watch it, but like with everything that's going on with COVID and all that, especially, like I have no desire to go out. Like, I mean, trailers aren't going to entice me to go re-see a movie that I've already seen 100 times. I mean, yeah, it's one of my favorite movies, but
Okay,
the risk far outweigh the reward.
let's say if COVID wasn't a thing.
Yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm scared to go to work. I go to work 4 days a week, like
It's
10
true.
hours a day, and I'm terrified, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And,
It's definitely in this climate. I still like. I lean towards more caution than excitement.
And we're not even allowed in the building I work at without a mask. So
No, that's what I'm saying. Everywhere
yeah.
you goes mask, and it's like which I don't mind the mask or anything. It's
I don't
like,
either. Like,
It's just
it's a safety precaution.
yeah. It's just you never know where anybody's at. So I totally feel you on it. It's not in this current climate. I don't think it's enough to entice me to go out, especially knowing that
I mean, all that shit's going to be on YouTube in
That's-
like a matter of
exactly.
days.
the Dune trailer. I'm sure the Wonder Woman 84 trailer and the Dune trailer are more than likely going to go up on YouTube the same day.
So
if
my
not
point
earlier.
is like, why would you go see a movie that you've already seen like 10 times just to see a trailer when you could just wait a couple days and have that trailer on YouTube?
Right.
Like,
People like the theatrical experience. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, it's louder, it's brighter, it's
Like,
you're in a
I-
theater.
I'd love to go see Inception again in an IMAX theater. Like, I think that'd be great.
Sure.
Like, and just like it's kind of just like an added bonus. Like, that's the thing. Like, if there was no COVID, if there was no risk of going out to the theater right now, I honestly would go see this because I'd love to see Inception on the big screen again.
I would love to see Inception on the big screen
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
but-
So I mean, if there was no risk associated with it, I'd love to go see it, and then seeing all this stuff just be like icing on the fucking cake. I think it'd be great. So. But anyways, guys, that'll do it for us today. I don't really have anything else on it. Before we go, though, just don't forget, if you have any topics or questions that you want us to answer and cover on the show, you can email us anytime at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. I am Rob Bifo. You can follow me at Sir Rob Bifo. Rick, where can everybody follow you online?
Sir Rick Metz, and spell Rick RIK, and you'll be good.
There we go.
Got my Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. You're welcome to follow me.
There it is. But yeah, that'll do it for us today, guys. Stay tuned. This will be coming. We got some more stuff coming up in the upcoming weeks. We got another show we're going to be bringing out soon.
Makeup.
We do have another show that we're actually going to be working on too. Not a entertainment related show. Something different.
A little different.
But different. We got some other stuff we're working on. We'll probably do some more statue reviews later down the road too. It's just those take a lot of time to do. And
Let me just say, if you like aliens, UFOs, stay tuned.
conspiracy shit.
Yeah, like tinfoil hats, like
Yeah, that's the thing. When you be prepared on Wednesdays when this show is released to be wearing your tinfoil hat.
yeah, it's gonna be some crazy shit.
That's the most we can say about this show. That's all we're gonna say. About it.
Legally, that's all I'm allowed to say.
we can't say any more until
My lawyers won't let me.
yeah, we're not allowed. That's
yeah,
not a thing.
yeah.
But anyways, guys, he's Rick Metz. I am Sir Rob Bifo. That'll do it for us today. Take care.